When you're photographing with film, there's always some mystery, but what you do know is what you didn't take.
There's a lot more to this story. Nick didn't really take that famous picture. It's time to clear my conscience.
G'day, how you going? So I just recently saw a movie, or documentary called The Stringer. Robin Wong mentioned it. I think it's been on Petapixels has mentioned it. They've done a review on it. So I thought I'd watch it, and I'll tell you what, it's a really good documentary, especially if you're into photography. And it centers around the whole, copyright ownership of photos. It's a story around that famous photo, you know it, the Napalm Girl. And it was taken by a guy called Nick Ut, who was a staff photographer for the Associated Press. You probably know about them. They're like routers, or they're quite famous for taking journalistic photos and stuff. And that photo actually went on to, become quite famous. It won a Pulitzer Prize award, and it practically, so-called changed the course of the war because it was just so graphic. So what this documentary is about, it's alleging that it wasn't Nick Ut, the photographer that everyone thinks took the photo, but it was actually someone else, a stringer. Now, what's a stringer? The stringer's kind of like a freelance photographer, who just works on the outside. It doesn't work for the actual company, and just gets paid per photo. Things like, that's what they call it, a stringer. A bit like Jimmy Olsen. Hey, chief, you want to buy a photo? And during the war, they had a lot of Vietnamese stringers, and I think they gave them like $20 per roll or per photo. When you think of it, $20 in 1972 was a lot for Australians, let alone someone in Vietnam, like a farmer or something. Now, I found that this movie was quite touching, really. It was very emotional because I actually live very close to, I'm surrounded by a lot of Vietnamese immigrants from the war, from 1975 when it ended. A lot of them I went to school with, and kind of when you're watching it, you think, and you can see in their eyes, like, your neighbour or someone. So I'll try not to give it away too much, the story, but you should watch it first. It's on Netflix. But it's really intriguing because you're kind of like doubting yourself, hang on, what's going on here? Did he really take the photo? Didn't he take the photo? So the gist of the story really is there's an American guy who used to work for Associated Press who actually developed the film that came in, because all the photographers and the stringers, so the real photographers and the stringers would all do their photos for the day. They'd come back, hand it in to the lab. So when this lab guy saw the photo, the manager, this guy called Horst, he's quite famous, Horst Faust. He's quite famous photographer, and he did a lot of the World War II as well. He said to the lab guy, put that down as Nick Ut took that photo. And that lab guy goes, well, hang on, no, it didn't. And then apparently Horst goes, no, he put it down. In the movie, he says, oh, I don't want to lose my job, whatever. This guy, apparently this Horst guy is a real Steve Jobs. Gets the job done, but a real complete arsehole. Very, authoritative. So anyway, he just said, yes, boss, no worries, boss. And 50 years later, he's kept that secret because he knew that it wasn't really Nick Ut. And the whole rest of the documentary goes on about trying to find out who it was. It's really, really interesting. So this whole story, it kind of transcends the whole debate about really who owns the photo, who took the photo, not who owns the photo. It kind of looks at the ethics of journalism and really historical truth, because that photo wasn't just a photo, it kind of was a symbol of the whole war. And it had a really profound effect on stopping the war even, and just putting it in the conscience of every person in the West. What the hell, why are we fighting for? War, what is it good for? Who's saying that? Now, the most interesting part really is they try and really analyse, they try and dissect it scientifically by stringing the pieces all together. And they get this French company called Index, and it's really fascinating how they do it. They full on go JFK, the single gun theory on it. they get computer animations and, they project it and they get topographic, photos from 1972, and they go, well, if Nick was 50 meters from here, was he using a 50 millimeter? Or was he using a 35 millimeter? Hang on a sec, he had a Leica, but then the other guy had a Pentax, and I tell you, I won't give it away, but let's just say that Pentax wins. It's full on. You got to watch it, the way they do it. And I actually researched it. It's a proper company. None of this is bullshit. The director really has put together a genuine documentary. They've really researched it. That Index company is a real company. I looked it up. I went to their website. They've even got a YouTube video of the actual, whatever they're doing, moving it around in graphics and computer graphics and stuff. So it's actually very, very interesting, I tell you. So one question is, do we even care who took that photo? I mean, there were a lot of photographers there that day. Someone took a photo of it, and the point is that the photo was taken and it went on to do whatever it went on to do. But I think it kind of does matter, because that photographer was witness to that, and to be kind of like sidestepped, what would have happened, what really would have happened back then. And I'm thinking, well, really, this Western journalistic company, the AP, Associated Press, man, they were just handing out $20 bills to anyone who took a good photo. So I guess this horse guy, says, well, why should we credit these guys? They're just out there making, $20. We gave them the $20. They're only the local Vietnamese guys. It kind of was, in a sense, a little bit racist, I guess, but unintentionally racist. I'm assuming that Horst, was going, well, they don't really care about credit. They just want to, take photos for money, and $20, I guess back then, US, was a lot, especially for them, which I mentioned before. So I'm thinking, well, I don't know, is it ethically right what Horst did, allegedly? By telling the lab guy, don't worry about who took the photo, put down Nick Ut, he's one of our guys. And that's what happened. And they probably didn't think it was going to blow out this much. They probably thought it was a good photo. Actually, one of the guys, the lab guy, actually said, no, we can't use that photo. That's bloody like child nudity.
And our first reaction was, we really can't use that. We never show any frontal nudity of children.
But they went ahead and used it anyway. So the New York Press put it like a front page, and it went, that was the first viral. But they didn't realise how viral it would become and how political it would become. And it even has, Nixon talking on the phone saying that bloody photo. And even like when I saw that photo years ago, when I was, even as a teenager, I'm like, oh wow, that's really full on, the suffering of that girl, really. And to have this also on top of it, like on the side as another injustice of the whole bloody thing, that the poor guy who took the photo for all this time, really didn't get any credit for it. Now, it's a bit of a poignant commentary on like copyright and ownership of photos. If they couldn't get the ownership of a photo or who took the photo right back in 1972, I mean, God help us today with AI. It kind of makes you think, far out, man, where are we heading into this world where AI, you don't know who took the photo, you don't even know if the photo's bloody real, and you don't even know who's in the photo's real. So you got like, is the photo real? Who took the photo? There's actually another movie, I can't remember the name of it, which kind of hints on this. They talk about how AI is causing chaos around the world with deep fakes. No one can really trust the news cycle anymore. And I believe it too, because now, I'm flicking through YouTube and I'm flicking through Facebook. I mean, at the moment, it's only like stupid stuff. Like there's a lot of videos now where pets, and they're using night vision, like it's as if it's doorbell camera. People are prompting AI to make it look realistic by degrading the footage, you know, like something about Trump or some bullshit about someone setting off nuclear weapons or God knows, you know. I mean, you really have to kind of trust Channel 9 and Channel 10, the proper news, because everything on the internet is full of shit. Like, I can't trust it anymore. I don't know what the hell I'm looking at. You don't really need to go out as a war correspondent and take photos of, you know, Ukraine or something atrocious. You can just bloody type it on the prompt and then there you go. It's the whole thing about it is the truth. There's this awesome quote in the movie. Ironically, it's from the sound guy. And because there was footage actually, they actually use it in the scientific analysis, but there's footage of it as well. So there's got all the photographers there, the stringers, the real guys taking photos, but there's also the video guy.
But it matters who pressed the shutter, not just for one man's legacy, but for what it says about who gets remembered and who gets erased.
Bởi vì nếu mà sự thật mà coi thường á, thì cái xã hội rất là tệ bạc. Rõ ràng sự thật là sự thật. Sự thật không thể méo mó được, không thể xé mẻ ra được. Bởi vì như vậy không còn là sự thật, là không còn lương tâm của con người nữa.
In the movie, it's a little bit dramatized, not too much. You can see some bits where like, oh, that's a bit staged, but probably 1%. It really is genuine. And the guy who took the photo, he's a really humble, really nice old man now. Yeah, he went on, he had a beautiful family and...
My dad left the village and he went to Saigon. So he enrolled himself into the photography school. That's where he met my mom. She was a hairdresser just next door. So they got married and then they had 3 of us.
Yeah, you think, is it about who's keeping score? You know, is it about did Pentax or Leica win? Anyway, that's my little stupid review on the movie, documentary. I really enjoyed it. So if you want to go watch it, Netflix. And I'll catch you on the next movie review. No, I'll catch you on the next video.
Who are you? Who are you? I'm a photojournalist. I've covered the war since '64. I've been in Laos, Cambodia, Nam. Hooey, baby.